Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 361. Let's see what shows up. So we aren't going to get any of the new champions, but we do have one of the new card pools here in Brutality. So I think we can take a battle with this. It's Kindred paired up with LeBlanc, and so I'm just trying to like stop and think. It's like if we're going to draft Kindred, like what do we want our like a Noxus champion to be if like LeBlanc doesn't show up? And I'm not like really sure there. Like I get the idea that there's some slays or excuse me, not slays, but removal spells in Noxus. But let's get this pulled up real quick and see exactly what we're working with here. And so we're going to be over here at ftpbus.com. If you're not familiar with it, it's where I keep all of my expedition related content. Over here on the main page in the expedition helper, I haven't got this updated to have all of the new card pools in it yet. That's on kind of the to-do list of things. I'm planning on phasing this piece of the website out anyways, and so we'll have to see if I'm able to get that together anytime soon. But as far as the other things go, over in the set reviews, I have finished our set review for The Rise of the Underworld. I'll try to get a text version of this together at some point in the future, but the video version is here as we speak. Over in the guide section, I've gotten a touch of new content out here. I haven't pushed it to the site yet, but we've gotten our first lab and our first trial in over here. And then, of course, the tier list is what I'm looking to keep updated and what everyone typically enjoys. I'll try to get that updated this upcoming weekend. But since I don't have the site updated yet, we'll just swing over to the old spreadsheet. The dev was super quick on getting this updated, so that's really sweet. Really appreciate it out here. And let's just take a peek over here and see if we can't find this Kindred pool real quick. Here we go over on the right. Looks like it get this to push over to the middle of the page. And so cool. I'm not 100% sure what we're getting ourselves into, but this is an absolutely tiny section of cards over here with this Kindred. It has Arachnid Horror, Mask Mother, Vile Feast, Black Spirit common, a couple of the sacrificed effects at rare, and then like Vaults of Helia Rasa. This is an absolutely tiny card pool. And so interesting if we want to say like try and push this towards fearsomes, that should be pretty reasonably easy to do. Not gonna sure what we're gonna be mask mothering. We could play the mask mother Legion rearguard combo if we have something come up that way. But interesting, interesting. Okay, then you're kind of standard fare as far as the LeBlanc side is concerned. Looks like it has a lot of your 5 attack matters units and a lot of your reputation units, and then it probably has every card that says strike and whirling death kind of things on it. And so, all right, I kind of have an idea of what they're trying to get us into here, but let's see what we can piece together with this Kindred. So, interesting. These aren't really good cards as far as pairing Kindred up with anything. Like realistically, I feel like we would just be slipping into um, a Kindred control deck that tops out at Aurelion Soul. I'm not super interested in drafting Yasuo. There's just no combos in Shadow Isles that work with Yasuo. And then over here with Draven, I mean, if we pull up the set of Kindred cards again, trying to think of like if we're making a go wide strategy where we're just trying to get a bunch of units on the board and then play like um, cards like Vision onto them. We could maybe make that work. The other thing is this is paired up into Noxus, so some of our packs are going to be kind of diluted with these uh, aggressive cards coming out of the LeBlanc half. I guess that's kind of okay. I would just kind of like, as we look at these, like in the rares, that your kind of standard Armored Elephant, Savage Reckoner, this doesn't feel like a very compellingly interesting card pool, but trying to think of how we could work this with Draven. It's got the Legion Rearguard. Draven has a bunch of Scrapheap style cards with him. Just trying to think of how we work in these Arachnid Horrors with Vision. But Arachnid Horror and Vile Feast we should be seeing a ton of. Hmm. Okay. Well, I think we could probably make this work. Get out of here, XSplit. All right, so if we're going to try and do go wide aggro with Draven and Kindred, all right, I'm on board. Let's see what we can do. So over here, this is a pretty bad set of units. I don't want to be picking up the Remitter or the Wrathful Rider. This was ultimately my worry in taking Noxus was we're not going to see just this big pile of Arachnoid Horrors like I was hoping to. And so I think we can just take the Poro and the Sharpened Resolve because I don't want to be in Piltover here. This is kind of like in the back of my head, I'm envisioning that we can like kill stuff with Vile Feast and use the Spiderlings to go wide and play visions on like our summoned Spiderlings and stuff. And I guess I have to stop and think with this is like, what is the chance that we just end up in spiders, right? Where Draven showing up in Arachnophilia along with we already have a Vile Feast. I'll have to keep that in mind and see if spiders cards show up. At this point, it doesn't look like it's happening, but that would be something to take note of. So with this wild pick, let's just come and take the Brutality. The Armored Tusk Raider is a pretty good closer. I'm planning on drafting Dravens instead of Kindreds, and so I think we can get that to work. And then things like Thorn of the Rose tend to work out reasonably well here. If we need something to discard to a Spinning Axe, then the Guile that we picked up for free can be pretty useful in that sense. Okay, and so still kind of interested in whether or not spiders will show up. It's very strange that none of them have up to this point, but we're never passing on Captain Fair, and he's just too incredibly good to pass up in this space. Okay, and then a relatively strong Blade Squire with Runeweaver. Always happy to pick up these Reforge cards, and then they play pretty spectacularly with Draven as well. See, look at this. We got this Brutality card pool. It's got the Arachnid Horror, the House Spider. Interesting. I mean, this is, I don't think, we'll be able to be like deep into spiders, but it's not unreasonable to think we can't find some kind of combos to go along with them. Okay, another interesting set here, picking up Draven's Biggest Fan. So the next thing you have to imagine is like, if we manage to win a game with this, what happens if it starts showing us Elise, right? We would probably rather have Elise than Draven if we're going to have some kind of like spiders theme going. And so I really am a big fan of Draven's Biggest Fan, the biggest fan of the biggest fan, if we're only planning on playing one copy of Draven. And so this looks like a pretty strong pickup as well. Again, these Reforges are all incredibly strong. Okay, and so here, there should be an easy Bookie Grenadier. Both of these are reasonably strong. Grenadier, exceptionally strong. Bookie, kinda strong. But I don't really want to be picking up Trifarians or Remitters. We don't have any of the combos to go along with these cards, and don't have the 5 attack matters to use with the Assessors. So get the Scrapheap going. Okay, alrighty, then interesting set. Astral Fox, I was curious as to what kind of home we could find for this guy. He seems like, he wants to be in an aggressive style deck, given this kill an ally to deal 3 to the enemy Nexus and also having Fearsome. But I wasn't quite sure where he was going to land. But I think this will be okay here. I am happy to pick up Neverglade Collectors as well. Just a great way to close out the game with these go-wide strategies. All right, we can't pass on our boy here. We got a Legion Rearguard with the survival skills. We don't have a ton of ways to discard survival skills, though. We only look to be playing one Draven at this point. Really kind of need the spinning axes to get the discards on this. Otherwise, all the discard cards are in Piltover. So, not super excited about this, but it does really like hurt me hurt me in my loins to be passing up on Legion Rearguards. All these packs are pretty strong. Like, right, we have what do we have? We have 3 Reforges for a Glory Seeker. That's not as good as I was hoping. And then we have the Aristocrat Unspeakable Horror. I think I'm actually just going to take the 1-drop with the removal spell out of the Slayers pack here. Still, again, in the back of my mind, I have this vision that we are going to end up with some spiders, and so we could probably pull something off there. Okay, then these packs are garbage. We don't want anything to do with Shark Chariots. Crocolith is bad, and so we're at least getting a removal spell with our bad unit in the Trifarian down here. Pretty easy take. Okay, here comes the atrocities. It's like, I'm not sure how much we actually need atrocity, given that we have Captain Farron. We also have the Tusk Raiders. We do have some cards quite worthy of throwing with the atrocity, so I probably do want to pick one up. This is an extremely tough pack, right? This is a really good set of 1 and 2 drops down here on the Scrapheap side. And then we have the Blighted Caretaker as well. I think I kind of want to come in and just take this Blighted Caretaker. We don't have a lot of good sacrifices for this, but we tend to like flood our board pretty easily. I think he'll be okay here. Right, then a Strength in Numbers. I don't want this Blighted Caretaker. Like, this is a lot different. We're not actually ever going to play a Grasp of the Undying. It's just too expensive in this style of deck, and so I'll let that one go. I think we want to pick up the Glory Seeker. It's like, now that we've picked up a atrocity, though, like, what do we think about Wrathful Rider? Do we push him up a little bit more in our values? Being able to get this, like, 7 damage to the dome in? It's kind of close. I think I just want to get the Glory Seeker, though. Man, probably don't have any 4-drops, right? Just the 2 crowd favorites and an Astral Fox. I think our top end looks good. We are picking up top end and strength in numbers, but I think that's where we want to go. Okay. Last but not least, we got to come in here for a trade pick. Kind of okay with trading away Arena Bookie, but he does play reasonably well in our deck, especially if we're getting closer to the late game. I think we can hang on to it. Don't want Sharpened Resolve. Don't want Minotaur Reckoner. So I think our removal is good enough to just pass on Calling Strikes. Let me take a look here real quick. We've got 2 1-damage pings, kind of Catch-All and Scorched Earth. Then Atrocity at the top. 2 of our spells kind of don't count. Atrocities just goes to face. Strength in Numbers is actually a unit. What spells did we miss? I saw a Sharpened Resolve in here. Alright, maybe we should just pick up the removal, but we have so many good discards to the bookie, but alright, fine, I'll pick up the removal. Okay, alrighty, we do also have to go and turn something premium. Let's take a look at what we have available here. Scroll it on down to not owned. Don't think. Did we even end up with any new cards? Any cards out of the new set? No. Nothing is quite coming to mind. Oh, we got an Astral Fox. Okay. So, alright, you're going to be our key to victory. We're going to get like 10 damage in with our early game aggression. Then we're going to close it out with Astral Fox Atrocity. Like, I can see this working and being cool. So, welcome to the squad, Astral Fox. I'm glad we at least got a new card into our deck. Right, here we go. Okay, so weird. Lots of the things I expected to. It's like I don't know how these things like play out as far as like the display bonuses, whatever it's called for the new cards goes. And so this is really strange. I don't think we saw a single Arachnophilia pack throughout that entire draft. Something I would completely expect. But with these, we'll hang on to R2 and R3. See if we can't get a nice little piece of aggression going on our opponent here. The Riven and the Garen. Choice. I think I want to just open. He hasn't played a unit up to this point. Like, I suspect he's gonna have something to do here. But I'm also not like completely upset to just be trading our Rose of the Thorn with whatever his 3-drop is. And so trading R3 for his 3 while adding a card to our hand gives us the slight bit of value, and we don't really have the means to come in and win those combats anyways. So that feels like a win in my books. Got this big old mana bank ready to drop some Sharpened Resolves, whatever we need to do. It's kind of scary running into Garen with the 3 mana up, but if he has a barrier, he can take down the combat here. But if we win this combat, this game should be done. Got the 3 spell mana though. This is never a guarantee. At least stops his Garen from getting the strike, so he's not going to level up next turn. All the champions all the time. Let's see if we can't go ahead and take her down. If he didn't have the trick last turn for Garen, I would say probably doesn't have this turn. Well, he could have had it, just doesn't seem like he wants to be 2-for-1ing himself to protect a Garen. It's technically a 2-for-2 since we spent a Sharpened Resolve, but it's okay. I'll try and Black Spear him down. Probably worth. Like if we can ever get a turn to where we can just like send this Trifarian in. I have to imagine he's just going to have another big boy, right? But we could get a fearsome attack through. That would be pretty huge. with this game. Let's be real. This is just going to come down to putting Captain Farron on the board and just winning the game right after that. Let me get real with you. We got Captain Farron in our hand, so that's the way games go when he's in your deck. Okay. Surprise. We probably got to pick off one of these vanguards, right? Would we rather pick off a vanguard or play a guile? He's not going to kill us this turn with a Fort Demacia, so we just giving up on the whole Fort Demacia plan, huh? Do not care about taking 6 damage from this thing. All right, so who do we protect? We probably just want to protect our collector at this point. Our shield breaker is just never getting in for damage at this stage of the game. Okay, so should be safe to add this. So it feels kind of all in-y on our Captain Farron here. As to whether, you know, if he has a detain or if he has a concerted strike, that's going to kind of suck for us, but let's at least get that 5 chunk in if he's just in a spot to have to block. And let's see, it's going to be so weird if like Elise just shows up and it's like, what up, I'm here now. I heard you talk about wanting to draft me for quite a few picks there. Okay, she doesn't make an appearance, so we'll just continue to stack our Dravens then. This doesn't seem like a world where we want to pick up Kindreds, and he's got Legion Rearguard attached to him, and so I really like the kind of the idea that we have with our deck here is to... it's very similar to what you used to run into quite a bit with in Constructed before all the Swain cards got nerfed, to where you just play a bunch of 2-drops, try to be aggressive really in the early game, and then at the late game, you're just trying to kill with the burn and not actually through combat. And so we should be able to do that with the Astral Fox that you can't, I'm highlighting, but you can't see the picture of, and then the likes of Atrocity and Captain Farron making decimates and stuff. So I like what we've pieced together here. This is nice little number. This little curve here as well. Love me a Legion Rearguard. This was like my favorite piece of the 2.11 patch notes. They went and like reverted so many changes from over the past year or so. And our boy Legion Rearguard survived all of them. He kept his 2 health. So somebody out there at Riot knows how much I appreciate that. But this is fine, right? If we need to come in and discard reforges to our spinning axes, that's completely fine. Don't care to trade any of these units for Rockhopper. Leading this up to a pretty big crowd favorite. Interesting he considered blocking our rear guard. There shouldn't be any ways for these decks to just deal a point of damage. Not out of Ionia Shurima. Got any way to stop that? We're going to have to Vile Feast it down post-combat, I think. Don't think we want to spend spinning axes here. I think we just want to get a spinning axe. We're going to have the means to put together a Riven Sword. That's how we want to go about it. I'm looking at playing Blade Squire next turn plus Caretaker. That's pretty close to lethal as well. It's a damage less this way, but I think he's probably going to add a unit here. Six, seven, eight. So we got to come in number 3 out of hand. LOL. He missed his allegiance. Welcome to the way we typically feel. So, want to do this. Let's put quick attack on our 3 attack. That's who he's going to want to block with his Sand Soldier. Do this and this. Let me double check if we can't lethal here. Let's say he blocks a random 3. We've got 3 or 5. We could have had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we would have been short. Okay. So now we're just gonna, on our next turn, we're just gonna play a hapless aristocrat and a big ogre. Or would we rather just try and play like Riven Sword next turn? Just have it on the ready for when we open attack. I think I'd rather just add the units. These fragments are just gonna be getting discarded here, I think. Okay. I would assume he's gonna have some kind of... Oh, we already had the unit for him to vulnerable. Okay. No siphoning strikes, please. Right, so let's see if we can do this one. Oh, sharpened resolve. So, okay, +2 attack. Got a bunch of damage out of hand, so I'm thinking this will probably be enough. Got him. Okay, so yeah, never trading out our Astro Foxes. He's kind of the key to what we're piecing together here. I don't think we want Mask Mothers either. I think we're good to just skip over all of this. So kind of the things we're looking for. I'd like to trade away some of this, weaker top end. If we get rid of Strength in Numbers and the Shield Breakers, I'd be fine with that. I'd like to pick up, 1 or 2 between like Everglade Collector and Armored Tusk Raider, whatever, either, Big Giganto Overwhelm or the Collector for the non-combat draining effect. Otherwise, you just kind of like to push this curve low and try and upgrade some of these units. None of these cards let us do that, though. So these are all pretty relatively easy skips. Okay. Some lurkers with a gangplank. So, pretty standard, I think. Hang on to our 2-drops. Shuffle everything else away. No 1s, but we have the 2 into Draven, which is always good. Got the 2 into Premium Draven, I should say. We've got to make the distinction. Right. Not bringing the ruckus on the first turn. I feel you. So does he do this to the top of your deck if you don't have him in hand or in play? Always coming up with some of these grand scenarios that I tend to mess up with Draven's biggest fan. This is okay. Swarm on top. Swarm on the board. Got his lurk for the turn. Yeah, that seems fine. I think we just add Rune Weaver. He hasn't played any any of the early game fearsome, so I just don't think that's going to be a thing this game. He's going to have a second one. Technically, if he just plays the second one here, we can put a Spinning Axe on Draven and block it, and then we can get our Draven flip. Kind of like right now. You ever just want to like roll the dice and go for it? See if he still plays it or if he passes a turn? That's probably a little greedy, let's be real. Like, I don't think you can realistically just be like playing these things blind unless you have some other kind of combo with it. Like if you have a Misfortune or if you have an Azir, like whatever, then sure you can run out your Snapjaw Swarm, but I don't think you can just run these out in your lurk deck if you don't kind of know that the unit on top of your deck is a lurker. Opponent agrees. He says, "Bust, you're always right." Why could anyone ever doubt you? You seem to be the rightest all the time. Let's see what we get out of here. We do still have the quick attack fragment for this Glory Seeker. Should he play something something interesting, give us an opportunity there. Pike, Gangplank, Rek'Sai. Making the big decisions. Life's biggest questions and answers happening right here. Huh.
This is gonna hurt for you.
Okay. I think I'm okay with being a little greedy with this Draven. If we have the biggest fan in our hand. Okay. It's going to get one unit out of this next turn. Maybe we do something with, maybe we don't, but we do have a free hook onto this thing if we want. Don't have to quick attack if we just want to dome into Monkey Idol. Right? Or do we want... Let's give him a chance to play cards. I can see this. The Fox seems good here. Send that damage right to your Nug piece. Think about it. Life's big decisions being made right now. Right, none of his units can even block this thing, so that's always a spicy little joint for us. Well, they put LeBlanc in this deck. I guess it's because she has the 5 attack matters, but it's like the unit wanting to strike is Draven, right? I guess it's there's less strike cards, right? He doesn't have the 5 attack matters strike that he can use, but I'm just saying it talks about wanting to use strikes. Ooh, I watched the animation. As far as I could tell, that was not the Pike animation. There's little eyeballs on the Pike animation if you're paying close attention. I'm going to go ahead and take this down just to get the blocker off the board. You can play a unit behind this, but I think this is good. Let's boogie. Seems good, right? I did the mathematics on the situation here. Seems pretty good. It's not cool. Okay. Still seems good. We're pretty far ahead on board. We got some quality cards in our hand. No complaints from me. We can't pick up the Draven anytime soon, but I still feel pretty good about if we want to say open with the Tusk Raider. Like, we're definitely playing Tusk Raider this turn. guess I shouldn't say definitely. We can play Biggest Fan Runeweaver if we want, but then we can't play 2 units next turn. Nope. So he puts something on top, picks up 2 Lurkers. What the Call of the Thing does, it's hard to see these burst spells when they come out. Call of the Pack puts a card in your hand on top of your deck, 2 random Lurkers in your hand. Ooh, I'm ready to block. You want to send your 4-attack unit in to hit a Lurk. But ultimately, like, at the end of the day, this is what I think the problem with the Lurk deck is. He's hit 2. Like, he's probably going to hit 1 now because he put a card on top of his deck. So that's going to be 3. But at the end of the day, I can just, like, Spinning Axe block this this Xerxite Hatchling if I want. It's not ultimately like a super scary card that he's presenting here. It was pretty lucky with the generate here. Oh, are you just not gonna... Oh, this is the one that needs 8 power. Okay. Surprised he didn't come in with this since it... Oh, he put Rek'Sai on top of his deck. Okay. Makes sense. That's when you see them get the +2 attack. That's you know what Rek'Sai does. It took me a longer than I feel comfortable admitting to figure out that was the way Rek'Sai worked. Okay, and so how do we feel about just this like quick attack open next turn? I guess we can see what we draw. Play Collector's interesting here. I think I'm okay with this. And then we can just look to say, like, quick attack challenge this thing down. He's going to be playing Rek'Sai here as well, though, right? That had to have been the card that he just drew. That's the last card in his hand. We even care? I mean, she's just going to come down and cycle away. That seems awful. So, quick attack. Discard Draven's Biggest Fan. Give you the bonus. Bring the Thunder. Cool. Right, because what's he going to do? He has Rek'Sai in his hand. He's going to play Rek'Sai and she's just going to shuffle back into his deck. That seems terrible. This has been one of my concerns as far as Rek'Sai goes. Is like, how do you actually take advantage of her? It's so bad to just have to come in and shuffle her away every time. But third Draven, glad to pick it up. He flips into a removal spell, which is, of course, extremely good. Picking up the cards with him weren't that great, but still is a nice champion to pick up here. Okay, to the next one. Rolling Letter Wrong. Always a big fan of Draven. Yeah, at least my voice. Always a big fan of Draven, so feels good to get these plays in. Not playing these dum-dums out here trying to play predict cards and stuff. Just spin up the axes and get going. All right, there's a Misfortune. Oh, man, I'm really surprised I haven't been seeing more of her. It just appears in 4 card pulls now. She should be showing up quite frequently. But here, I think I'll hang on to the Unspeakable Horror. We might find ourselves in a spot where we need to like snipe off a Quinn bird or a Challenger bird here at the beginning of the game. So I could see getting some usage out of it. Kindred makes an appearance. Not a bad little aggressive start. I do say so myself. So going to keep the Reforges up. I tried to pull that back and I was a little slow to the trigger. I think I would rather have the Arachnoid Horror here, but in the face of a Boxtopus, this feels a little bit better, I guess. Surprised he didn't block. Like, what better are you going to hook down with this thing? If he just passes to us, it's okay for us to pass. Like, not... No. Get the Misfortune, huh? Care about losing the Blade Fragment is the big question here. Like, if we want to pick up the Nightfall, probably want to pick up the Nightfall. none of that today, my man. Dusk Rider, not that exciting, but he's got some stats on him. He picked up that +1 attack, which is so big for this thing. At least we get to play him as a 5/5 if we want to drop a Nightfall to get him down. He counts himself if you do the Nightfall. Lots of potential. Dude, nobody approves of that. I want to be playing my spinning axes for the appropriate price. He missed our Rune Forger. LOL. That was the Misfortune version as well. Look at that. So he's giving up on one of his copies of her. I'm curious to why he'd keep this on the board. I guess just to keep us from playing spinning axes or something. That seems better than preventing the damage. He's getting pretty low as far as damage is concerned. Got ourselves a Draven. Okay. Do we just want to let him fall, or do we want to actually play the other copy? I think it's okay if he just falls. And we're definitely getting this Kindred down. He doesn't have the means to hook her, and she's going to be enough to stop him from attacking. He's not... I guess he has the choice if he wants to make a scout attack and get the tick up on Misfortune, or if he wants to lose something to Kindred. He would lose the suppressor in this case. It's not super exciting. We fall to 10. Okay. I mean, we should be able to start taking over this board with Kindred now. Oh no, we didn't get a Slay though. Oh snap. Ugh, we should have just traded her away, I think. There's a Slay. That should be good here. So let's just play something cheap and so we can get our Blighted Caretaker going. That gets in the way of Kindred. Picked up a Challenger Bird, not bad. So I think we definitely have to be Blighted Caretakering now. The quick attack is fine to discard. It's kind of expensive here. Okay, alright, I feel a little bit better after that. A little bit. Maybe not completely better, just, just a little bit better. Okay. We have to add Elephant. If he can't like riposte now, so our Elephant should be good enough to shut down all of his scout attacks. This is good. He's going to get a big swing in after the fact, but not bad. Ooh, no scout attack, huh? Take down our Kindred. Okay. Feels like you would want to just get a scout attack in and then follow up afterwards. We only have 2 mana. But no complaints from this side of the board. Alright, now I'm looking towards Brutal Hunter and Draven. We could do Draven Dusk Rider, but I think I want to just get the quick attack challenge in with our Brutal Hunter. Take down some of these more problematic bros he's bringing to the table. Siren. Ugh. Gross. Not have an answer to that. What's gonna do is just make Misfortune do 2 damage on every pop. Okay. Let's do what we can. We attack with everything. Do we ever threaten like a lethal on him? Right? If we hit with these two, say he, you know, wants to. We're only looking at 5 damage out of the Tusk Rider, though. Okay, so maybe as long as we can just like survive an attack, we'll be okay. The Misfortune damages won't hit the Tusk Raider. Oof. Boom it. I completely forgot about that guy. Get that stuff in there. Oh, feels good. Okay, what are we picking up now? I'm not picking up any of these. I don't want the Rekindler or Spirit Journey. We kind of talked about the expensive cards that we want, and none of them were the Rekindler. Spirit Journey we don't have combos with, and Sharpened Resolve is fairly meh. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Affectionate Poro, but I would probably rather be playing like a Blade's Edge style Poro that maybe we put a Reforge on as opposed to just playing Sharpened Resolve. Really not a huge fan of that card. Fill the potato. Misfortune Part 2. Alright. Should be significantly less challengers from this guy, though, so... excuse me, that sounds like a positive to me. Alright, we have all these options with the Poro. If we want to get a spinning axe attack or something with it, you know, we can do stuff. Got that he's premium. Check out that, bro. He's a fucking premium Poro. That's the hot stuff right there. I'd say the majority of the time against Bilgewater, they're just gonna have a dude willing to come in here and trade. This does shut down like his ability to play Fortune Croakers if that's what his idea was here. So pretty good chance he can't play that card. It seems like we're usually kind of like coin flipping at best when we're trying to get those going off of the Pull Shark. Hitting warning shot's not the worst. Alright. Let's see if we can't take advantage of this. This deck should have a reasonable amount of trouble with Draven. Okay. This is just to hit us with a black market merchant. Be my guess. That feels like a fairly ambitious make it rain. Okay. Rusty didn't want to keep that plunder for something in the future. Okay, and then this hand is the awkward. Kind of want to hang on to Brutal Hunter, but I think we'd rather just be like Aristocrat Caretakering next turn. Let's go ahead and get the unit down. Okay, well, he's going to double trouble into our thing. At least kind of guaranteed to get good blocks on it next turn. Okay. All seems reasonable. Check our fragment, it's the Overwhelm. Okay, let's clear this shit out. What else are we gonna do onto this board? Clear this shit out. Okay. You got it, boss. It still seems like a pretty good board for us. His health is, you know, pretty high, but our board is way superior to his. Feast on that plunder. Okay. Enjoy your attacks into that. Ooh, Gangplank. Gangplank's ready to enjoy that, I guess. Okay. AoE for 2. Does this hit everything? Yeah. Okay, well. Can't Scorched Earth, but can Unspeakable Horror his powder keg with all that abilities on the stack. Can do this. I don't think we want to get a trade here, so let's just throw a unit in front of this because it's just going to die anyways. Do we even care about the powder keg now? If it's taking 2 damage from it? Are we ever going to get a better Unspeakable Horror? It does prevent a ton of damage, though. So I guess it prevents 1 to our face and then another one, right? 2, like the 1 damage from face, and then should prevent. Oh well, we wouldn't be taking damage on our elephant from the powder kegs, right? Okay. Now we have this awkward slay bro in our hand. Not really amped to have him out here, but kind of is what it is. Hoping to get a better Scorched Earth. So let's add Cloven Way. Not gonna have to get the stuns off of this. Okay. Definitely need to Vile Feast this thing, so can't be taking these big chunks of overwhelm damage. Oh, that was out of our deck. Okay. Doesn't go for the overwhelm play though. Interesting. Right. How much spinning axe are we willing to do here? I think we just want to do 1. Right. Okay. This is a big pickup from him. He's ahead on board. He's got 2 cards in our hand. We got this pretty dead card here. We need to be drawing Captain Farron pretty fast. Something. It's actual anything. Arachnid Horror is not what I was looking for, but okay. All right. Let's see if we can draw our way out of this. Oh, that was such a brutal hit with that strength in numbers. Just like, I guess Captain Farron would have been worse, but so many cards that could have been a little bit better. Drawn Legion Rearguard. It is what it is, though. When you're up above 10 mana with these decks, this isn't really where your cards are meant to be. But that strength in numbers was pretty backbreaking. Ugh, seeing people play Sleight of Hand, come on, that's like one of the worst cards in the game. It's brutal. And of course he hits our unit we didn't play. Alright, I gotta cut the salt out. Our game is no good that late anyways, so well played by opponent there. Okay, so let's see if we can't improve. Oh man, Captain Farron number 2. I'm not like excited about Captain Farron #2. Maybe we should be, given how that game went. Just need the kind of opportunities to trade our expensive cards away as opposed to picking up higher quality expensive cards. Okay. Pushing forward, onward and upward. The salt has been rinsed away. Let's see what we can do here. Would like to get rid of that strength in numbers, though. I mean, as far as our top end goes, I kind of glossed over it a bit when the Rekindler showed up there, but really just looking for these big overwhelms. I don't want to just be throwing a unit onto the board that that can't close out a game if an opponent could just come in and block it. But here, we have the Draven's biggest fan start, so we'll be getting a Draven here pretty soon. And then I wanted to hang on to the Calling Strike since it kills both Irelia and Misfortune. See, I told you, I've been waiting on it to happen when these Misfortunes were just going to keep showing up over and over again. This is our third Misfortune in a row. Not real sure how I feel about the quantity of Misfortunes that they've allowed into the format, but it is what it is. Alright, so we can do this now. We get our Draven going, and then next turn we should be pretty well set to Calling Strike something. Got a... what? It seems like he's probably got a Twin Disciplines if that's what his play is. He had to stop and think and then realize he couldn't kill our Draven. I could see that being a thing. So we'll need to be a little careful with the Calling Strike in terms of Irelia. It's not like super scary now. I'm more worried about a Misfortune than I am an Irelia, but... okay. Okay, the dude's definitely got Twin Disciplines. Maybe not. Maybe he'll play Dragon's Protection and we can get some kind of big play going here. Gonna play it on Irelia, that would be cool. Okay, let's wait till combat till we throw our cards down. Say maybe he'll do something cool where we we can get a punish in, but all right, this is okay. And we can try and make a big play with a Spinning Axe Vision this turn. Let's see what happens after we add the Brutal Hunter. It might be a little aggressive, but I'm happy enough with this quick attack challenge onto his sparring student. Okay. He's tapped out with this as well. That's kind of a big thing to take note here. So we're going to get our Draven flip because he's being cutesy with these. And then we're going to have a real good quick attack challenge coming out of here. Probably just want to hit the sparring student, right? Give a unit 2-0. Can't lethal this turn, but like we're probably pretty okay with it if his plan is just to like recall Blossoming Blade, right? Okay, perfect. Draven time! Alright, good deal. So hopefully this is just too much for opponent to recover from. Can't get strength in numbers going. I do worry about throwing down strength in numbers against these Irelia decks because they have Deny sometimes. I don't know if Deny lives in that pool, but I'm pretty sure it lives in the token attacks pool, which should probably be showing up throughout the trial. But okay, perfect. You can't lethal us with this thing. So do your will. I'll show our hand here in the strength in numbers, and pretty sure we'll just close this out next turn. Draven time. Cool. You are good, Draven. Dang. So cool. Let's see if we get one of the trades we're looking for. I'm not... this effing Sharpened Resolve is not something I'm really looking to pick up. Like, okay with the Trifarian Hopefuls. What's our 4-drops look like? It's just the 2 Brutal Hunters. We have a lot of 4-drops. So let's actually do this. Let's throw away the crowd favorite and pick up a Hopeful. Don't want this Shield Breaker, but I really just don't want Sharpened Resolves. It's such a low quality card. Okay, pre-final battle. Let's see if we can't get ourselves in there. Ooh, flipping Draven. That always feels good. But typically, you know, like a spinning axe play, but yeah, man, we got all these strike cards. That's well, we don't have all these strike cards, but that's what the card pool is supposed to be doing. And that's maybe one day we'll get to piece something cool together like that. Alrighty. Not a good start. Is this Yasuo, Lee Sin, and Leona with Bilgewater cards in it? No idea what's happening here. I guess it's just going to be some kind of good cards deck, but... Oh, he had a Spellslinger's Lee Sin is what happened. That makes sense. Now, you see the Spellslinger's Lee Sin, you pick up a couple random Bilgewater cards, and then he has kind of the Solar Wind stuff from Leona Yasuo, so it's probably kind of like 2 halves of a deck. Sometimes you just get the big Leona draw, even if you aren't playing with her cards. Okay. Then I'm going to continue to add to the board here. It gets like a bit awkward with the mana, but I want our crowd favorite to be as big as possible here. We can kind of like, the way I kind of envision this is just getting, you know, the hook onto his best unit here in the future, and then being able to like Scorched Earth it. This 4 damage isn't a big deal. Our big crowd favorite. Kind of comes down to like seeing what he plays as to whether or not we can say like throw down a collector next turn or what we want to do. This is fine. But we can just open, put the damage onto the shield bearer, and then we'll miss out on the 1 drain, but I think I'm okay with that. This big old chunk of damage in. Okay. Out here building up to this Captain Fair, and that's at least when we have these like really weird draws where if we look at these cards and are just kind of like, ooh, these cards are not good. at least seeing Captain Fair in your hand gives you a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Throw down your 3rd Zenith Blade. How dope would that be if he puts his 3rd Zenith Blade on this thing? We're gonna talk all this trash, and then he's gonna play like a Bastion as we try to Scorched Earth it, but let's see. I guess we can block. We get a drain out of it if things go wrong here, but is this +2 attack? No, it's quick attack. Let's see here. 4 on the left, 7, 8. All right. Down the Sunhawks. Just needs blockers, I guess. Not opposed to putting Draven on top of our deck. What he does here. Can you get double stun or something? Or 3 damage? Those are... Okay. Oh, look at that. He snuck down a claws of the dragon. That's sneaky. Yeah.
You act, but do not see.
Okay, and then who would we rather remove more? I guess we want to get rid of the 3/1. That was a pretty easy decision. I mean, I guess he could technically be trying to make some kind of recall into Solari Sunhawk play, but I don't think that's worth chasing after. What's our mana situation like here? We got 4. We're going to be exactly at Captain Farron next turn. So I do want to be able to play Captain Farron, and then on our following turn, where we're trying to open with him, be able to double decimate. It should be enough to close this game out. I see him at 2 now. Could we have just lethaled that on the last game? On the last turn? If we had attacked with our Neverglade? Well, he could have got a block where one of our units wouldn't have died. This is just over in so many ways. And there's no need to be ultra clever here, right? Let's just end it. Okay. Don't get me wrong, I do like being ultra clever, but it's just like we had an abundance of ways to not even make that combat matter. Because Captain Farron wasn't doing damage anyways. Okay. So what do we got here? Let's pick up our trades. I don't think I actually want Imperial Demolitionists. I do like our ability to go over top of our opponent's stuff, but it's like we have a lot of the bad targets for this thing, right? If you come down and say, like, I want to play a Demolitionist on 2, and we were looking at, like, Poro, Blade Squire, Draven's biggest fan, like, Legion Rearguard is the only one that survives, and then that kind of pushes onto our 2s as well with Rune Weavers and Glory Seekers, and so I don't think we're going to get usage out of this. I don't want Remitters. Kind of okay with trading away crowd favorites, but I don't want Wrathful Rider, so we're going to skip over this trade. Interesting. Like, of course, like a Vengeance, I just don't think we like super need it in this deck. We have the kind of means like a Nox and Guillotine, but I think I want to just trade the Guillotine away for the Brutal Hunter. We're not really out here trying to we're just trying to curve out in the early game. I don't think we want to build up to that stuff. Like, on the turn we play Vengeance, we'd rather just be playing a big Overwhelm. But here, not trading away Rune Weavers. I could see picking up a Glory Seeker. Vile Feast is pretty weak here. And then Grenadier for Mask Mother is a no-go. Want to hang on to Vision, never trading Blade Squire. Don't want Soul Gorger, wouldn't trade out the Scorched Earth anyways. Okay, I think I want to hang on to the Fox. I like what he brings to the table here, but I don't want to pick up Spirit Leech. We don't have enough Slay combos, and we don't need the card draw in this style of deck. Comes down to, do we want this Blighted Caretaker? I think we're fine. We did just pick up another 4-drop, so let's get that interaction there. Never trading Atrocity. All of these are skips. We want the Elephant and the Hapless Aristocrat. Looks good. Let's get ready for that final battle. Right, final battle. Who wants to guess if we're playing against Misfortune? Right, so here we go. We are up against the Lurkers, it does appear. I'm curious what opponent's doing with the Lurkers to get this far into the trial, because I have not had much success with them. But I think we probably don't want to keep the Poro. Let's just get rid of everything and look for higher quality cards. This is okay. It does give us a Spider to throw away to the Caretaker if we want. Not a really high quality opener. Raven always makes it feel better, though. Life's big decisions being made right now. Hykin 14. Thinking about it long and hard. Maybe I'll play a 1-drop. Maybe I won't. Okay. He says no. Turn late Blade Squire. It'll be okay. I'm sure you'll give us the perfect reforge as you come down off curve. This new card must have brought a lot to the table if if we can't close to roping on turn one and now have to wait through an entire rope again. The new information this single card has brought. Okay. You're welcome to hook either. Interesting. So he wants to actually draw the Snapshot Swarm. Well, I guess he does hit the lurk doing it that way. Okay. There's unfortunately no like really sweet way to sequence this Draven. He's not going to, if he plays that Snapjaw Swarm, he's going to do it after we attack, and we're not going to preemptively Spinning Axe. And so, oh, the Feral Prescience, huh? It could be a little worrisome. Well, yeah, he's hit one lurk. If he randomly spikes a Rek'Sai, then that would be able to take down our Draven, but wouldn't quite count on worrying about that. Yeah, let's bring it in.
Hey, buddy.
Okay.
Time for the money.
How bad can this be, right? Huh. Okay. Well, he's safe from parlay, so get them flips. Okay, yeah, I don't quite understand that. All right, got our big boy Draven out here now, getting all flipped and stuff. How do we feel about these? It just kind of seems like we have to get on board here. So let's add in the Astral Fox. Kinda okay with blocking this thing because we're going to get a Kindred going next turn. But it's like, when does he ever add 2 units to the board? Maybe we do just take this 3. See what we can do with Kindred next turn. Oh. Cool. Man, he's like got 2 cards in hand now. That seems brutal. Okay. Get these slays everywhere. Okay. We can't wait on him to add units to the board. You just pass it back. Alrighty, seems good. That just has to be it, right? we can Spinning Axe Atrocity if he taps out for something. Probably have to give that sweet play a turn. No risk of dying here. Righty, good game, my man. Good game. So cool, nice little 7 winner. You know, it's mostly just a Draven deck, but it was nice to kind of take a peek at what was happening with this new Kindred card pool. And so let's take a hot second and get this pulled up here real quick. There it goes. So yeah, interesting with this deck. I can't remember what that card pool was called, but whatever the new, what is it, LeBlanc and Kindred card pool was called. That's what we were trying to do here. And so, again, the whole idea behind that card pool is trying to get together the strikes from Noxus and have that be the removal spells that you use with your Kindred slays. And so, is that like a real theme? You know, probably not. But I did think that there were some interesting things to kind of take away from that card pool and the things that we pieced together here. And so, thing number one was I thought we were looking to be fairly on track to piecing together some kind of spiders deck, right? I don't remember how exactly all this played out, but I mean, looking at our picks, there was the Vile Feast in the opening pack. We took Draven pack 2 for who pairs into Arachnophilia. Then it was like down here at pick 7, we picked up this Arachnid Horror House Spider pack. But then, nothing else really showed up outside of just some random hapless aristocrats. And so that was kind of a fail, something we expected to be able to do and just couldn't. Again, is that, maybe a function of um, the pick bonus showing up for these new card packs, or is this, because we were kind of stuck over into the scrap heap kind of thing, or is this just a function of us not having enough spiders? I could see it, leaning either way. That's something that you'd have to get an official answer from Riot from, because we still don't really know how those pick bonuses work. And so thing number two, I don't think this is, a real strategy. I don't really like pairing Shadow Isles and Noxus together unless it is the aforementioned Spiders deck. There's just not enough combos between the two card pools. The Noxus card pools are all very combat oriented, or I'm sorry, the Noxus removal spells are all very combat oriented with like your Whirling Deaths and your combat tricks, or they need 5 attack units. And then the Shadow Isles is not very combat oriented and has no 5 attack units. And so it's kind of like a weird combo. There's not like a really good usage between the two card pools. But I think the big thing that we can call out from this, though, is that the Noxus half of this is extremely powerful. There was a lot of tools there to get an extremely powerful um, LeBlanc deck going. And so on the Kindred side, also interesting that it looks like there's the makings of a very good Fearsomes deck. And so again, like one of the concepts that I've really been talking about here recently is there are deck archetypes. That's what these specific card pools look like, but there are just so many of them where you do not want to touch the other faction. And this seems to be like right up the alley for that. And so I could definitely see this being where if like say pack 1 we take the Kindred half, and then pack 2 we just completely avoid Noxus, and then the same applies to the LeBlanc half. We get into the second half, hope to find a Piltover champion or another Noxus champion, or just something that'll let us be aggressive. Even like a Shurima champion would be good for the quick attack challenges we could pull off. And just completely stay away. Say nah, Riot. I see what you're trying to do here. This theme is dumb. I watched the Bust video the other day. He said the theme here was dumb. I'm not going to do that. And so that's one of the things. That should help you. Like we saw, like I think it was pack 3, right, where they showed us the pack from whatever this Bruisers or whatever this card pool is called, and it was like Wrathful Rider and Ethereal Remitter, and it's like, no, I don't want that shit. It's not on theme for anything. Just like get that out of here. Like I see the one has a big attack and I see the one has a slay ability, but like nothing about that is going to help us piece together a cohesive deck. And so I think this is kind of be one of those card pools. But where I was trying to like kind of circle back to is it's interesting when they add in multiple card pools like this that are all of kind of like the similar thing. And so, if we are out here drafting Reputation LeBlanc, and then we're getting additional picks out of Bruisers LeBlanc, whatever this thing is called, we're getting kind of double chances on hitting a lot of key cards to a lot of very powerful archetypes. And so the same thing applies over on the Kindred side. And, the more easy way to see it, and the way that we commonly refer to it, is whenever we're drafting elites, whether or not that's with Jarvan or Garen. But if we're able to really align ourselves as to being this, super Demacia deck, where we're able to get 2 packs in each side that have both a Challenger's Demacia and a Demacian Steel, without having to worry about the Shurima card showing up. Where I don't think the mathematics would work out as us doubling our chances of finding Honored Lords and Umbrella Makers. The chances get exceptionally better. And so I think that's like the big takeaway here. I don't want to sit here and like hee-haw about this deck and the cool things we were doing. This was a pretty standard Draven deck, right? You just go for all of the aggressive 1, 2s, and 3s. You look for the big overwhelms in the late game, and then you just kind of fill in with the cheap side of combat tricks. And then if you're able to add in some go wide cards like Vision or Arena Battlecasters, then more power to you. But we didn't really get any bonuses out of the Shadow Isles here, except for Kindred being particularly good and having burn spells like Atrocity. And so, I don't think this is like a real deck here. I'm not going to tell you all to run out and try and draft this. And I do think the big takeaway is this theme and this idea that I'm trying to piece together about some of these archetypes being bad, and then trying to draft the Riot specific archetype, while probably not terrible, isn't always the strongest strategy that you could be pursuing. So yeah, pretty cool in that sense. I think I think this was a nice little exercise, and there's a lot of value to get out of this. And so hopefully you stuck around and you weren't just like, Bust's out here drafting Draven again. There's no knowledge in here for me, because I think there was a lot to gain out of this video, even if you did get stuck watching Draven again. So I do think that's going to do it for us today. Looks like we got a handful of rewards to click on, so we can go through these chests. All you reward lovers out there getting all these valuable chests. Oh man, I was just clicking too fast. Saw that Boom Baboon show up. I was surprised we didn't get to see him. He was in Piltover. That's why he has to be a part of the scrap heap card pool. Okay, and so that was that. Got that wild capsule that everyone loves to be seeing, and then over to the weekly vault. Nice. We got the upgrade to the diamond chest, so we didn't get too many pluses on the chest, but we got a little something there, a little bonus. They said, Bust, you deserve it. You deserve a bonus, my man. Okay. Maybe we'll spike a champion out of here. One of the new guys. Are they all guys? I try to wipe that out of my vocabulary. I don't like to refer to our viewers as you guys either, but who is it? Echo? Rek'Sai's a lady, and so one of the new champions is how we'll look at it. Did we speak too soon? Who did we get? Silver. There we go. We did pick up one of the champions today. Nice. The wild card. And so there you have it. That's going to do it for us today. Hope you all learned how to manage your Draven packs a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.